In today's video, we are going to talk about integers, specifically how to add and subtract them, and in a separate video, we'll go over how to multiply and divide them. And we're talking about integers involving signs, because when you throw in those negatives, that's when things get a bit more confusing. So what are integers? If you think of a number line, we start at 0. On this side, we go up. On this side, we go down. Each of these numbers that I'm writing are integers, and it goes on forever on either side. Okay, so these are our integers. We can have positive integers, we can have negative integers, we can have 0. So how do I start to add them? Well, the first thing I'm going to go over is if I've got questions like, so for example, the kinds of questions we're going to talk about together would be things like this, which you probably already know how to do. Something like that. We'll give you one more. So typically we're pretty good at answering questions that look like this and that look like that. It's these situations that I find kind of stump us a lot of the time. So how do we start to look at these questions? I once asked someone who was in the math education world, his name is John Mighton, how he teaches this, because I find that a lot of students struggle with it. And he said to think about it like money. And in particular, he said to think about it like having money versus going into debt. So when you're doing questions like this, I want you to think of it in terms of money. Okay, now what's the story that we're going to tell ourselves? Well, if something is a positive number, that means you woke up one morning and you had $6.
The +5 tells you that someone now comes and gives you $5.
All I want us to think about right now is at the end of each story or question, is this a good day, meaning we have money, or is it a bad day, meaning we're in debt? So again, we're basically going to say, is this a good day, so we have money, or is it a bad day and we're in debt? And if it's a good day at the end of the day, we're going to put a positive sign for our final answer. And if it's a bad day, we're going to put a negative sign in front of our final answer. Okay, so having money, positive, debt, negative. So over here, we talked about the story. I have $6. Someone gives me $5. This is now a good day. So I'm going to put a plus. This next one, I have $7 when I wake up. Someone says, hey, you owe me. So the owing is the negative. You owe me $3. Well, if I have $7, and for those of you who want me to write this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say each of those sticks represents $1. I owe someone $3. I still have $4 left. So still a good day. Remember, by our definition, good just means I have money. Bad means I'm in debt and I don't have money. Over here, what does this mean when I start the day at a -3? Well, this means that I already start the day off in debt $3, but then someone comes along and says, hey, I'm giving you 7. Okay, so I'm in debt $3. Someone gives me 7. So I would give 3 of those dollars to pay off the debt, and I'd still have money left over. So still a good day. Okay, so I'm hoping you're understanding the good and bad day. We'll see what it looks like over here. So you wake up one morning, you are in debt $5. And then someone says, hey, you owe me another $2. So this is a bad day. And actually, you're even more in debt than you were before. My pen has stopped working. There we go. And if you feel comfortable with it, pause the video here and tell me whether this one's going to be a good day or a bad day. And then when you're ready, unpause it. Okay, so I wake up, I'm in debt $10. I already owe people $10. Someone gives me $4. That's great, but it's not enough, so I'm still in debt. So the first thing I want to say is a lot of students remember the mantra, a positive and a positive make a negative and a negative make a positive. That doesn't apply to adding and subtracting integers. That applies to multiplying and dividing them, and we'll see that in the next video. But when it comes to adding and subtracting, you can't say a negative and a negative give me a positive answer. That doesn't work with adding and subtracting. But thinking about it like money will always work for you. So now if we understand that story and we can think of it like money, now we can go and add in the number part of it. So I have $6, someone gives me $5, I add the 2, I have 11. Now obviously we don't always need to put this plus there, but I'm going to leave it there just for emphasis. Over here, let's think through it with common sense. I have $7, someone takes away 3, or I lose 3. That was this picture here. So I still have 4. Over here, I'm in debt $3, someone gives me 7. And like we talked about before, you can take 3 of those dollars from the 7, pay off your debt, and you're still left with 4. Over here, if I'm in debt by $5 and then someone says, hey, you still owe me 2 more, I'm actually adding my debt. So here's my rough work off to the side. I now have $7 worth of debt. So the 7 is here, but that negative sign is what tells us it's still debt. So again, you can't say a negative and a negative make a positive, because that only applies to multiplication and division. Again, if you're comfortable, pause it, say the story to yourself, and see if you can answer this question. Unpause it when you're done. So I have debt of $10 when I wake up. Someone gives me $4. I'm still in debt, but I can pay off some of that debt, so it's going to be -6. Some teachers teach it as, when you're doing the addition and subtraction, whatever sign the bigger number has is going to be the same as your final answer, and that does work too. I just like this because if you forget those little rules, if you think of it as money with this good day, bad day, debt kind of story, you will always get it right. And it works even if we have larger numbers. So let's try that with larger numbers. Let's see, I guess we're on F now. Why don't we try it with this? So once again, pause the video, try these on your own, and then come on back when you think you're ready, and we'll do them together. Okay, now that you've tried them yourselves, let's take a look at this F question. So I start the day, I'm in debt $10. And I realize I owe someone another $15. So now I am in debt, and I'm in even bigger debt than I was before. So for my rough work, I can add 10 and 15. And this is how much I now owe people in total. So it's a -25. Over here, I start in debt $63, or I owe someone $63. Someone gives me 10. So what do I do with that? I'm going to take my original $63 debt. I'm going to subtract off $10 from my debt. And so I still have this much of a debt left. So my answer is -53. Now, eventually, you're not going to have to say this whole story to yourself every time, and it's going to get a lot quicker. I just like this method because, again, if you're ever stuck, you can fall back on this and get the answer right every time. In the next video, part 2 of 3, we are going to look at what to do with questions that have brackets and multiple signs. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.